in Jefferson County. He has one son. Ladies and gentlemen, Maurice Sweeney.
Let me thank the St. James Catholic Church and El Cross for the job that they're doing. Let's give them a round of applause. They only gave me a few minutes to talk. As he told you, I'm from Eastwood, Kentucky, where I grew up on a dairy, beef, and tobacco farm. We 300-acre farm. And the last time I did something in 3 minutes was actually milk a cow. So I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. Everybody wants to try to compare our campaign to the Obama campaign, and quite frankly, if I had his ears, I would have flew down here. You know, we're facing some very tough times, and I think I can help save the state some money. Since the Republicans always follow Mitch McConnell by hook, line, and sinker, why don't we just have one voice, one Republican in Washington, and that takes care of all the rest of them, because they don't seem to have an original idea of their own. I came here wearing a tie because my mother will be 91 tomorrow, and she said, you better have a tie on. But let me tell you the type of Democrat I am. I'm a conservative Democrat, and what that means is I bought this tie at Walmart. Now, let me also tell you that I didn't get a red tie or a blue tie. When you put red and blue together, you get purple. And I'm the only one that can bring this state together, that we have more in common than we have that divide us, and somebody needs to say it. When you think about these career politicians and what you see, you know very well that you can think about what they'll be like, write it down, put it in a mayonnaise jar, and 6 years from now you can open it and be 99% correct. With me, you can't guess what you're going to get, and I'm going to assure you of one thing, that I can do more to bring attention to Kentucky and to bring our tax dollars back home than the rest of these guys. Now, as Al said, my family comes from Trigg County, about 70 miles from here. My great-grandfather, Tandy Cunningham, was born 181 years ago. I've had 4 generations of people between the land of the lakes. And I can tell you that my great-grandfather was sold for $1,100, that he worked at a barrel-making plant at night for a quarter. And by the time he died in 1914, he owned 365 acres that's now under Barkley Lake. My mother was born in Cadiz, Kentucky. She was a 3rd-generation teacher. I now have 6 generations of teachers in my family, and I'm proud of that. I used to go to Cadiz to Bible school. I came back as a teenager where we brought our Belgian horses to Trigg County Fair to compete in the horse pulling contest. And as an adult working for the Human Rights Commission, I traveled to Hickman, I traveled to Fulton, I came to Paducah. I'm the one that started the Mayfield and the Murray Human Rights Commission. Now let me tell you something about why we're running. Because we believe in volunteerism. And volunteers is what makes a town a community. And you ought to have a record of service if you want to serve. And Al told you I've served on something like 30 boards and commissions. As a matter of fact, when our volunteers leave here today, we're going back to Mayfield to do some volunteer work. And that's our intention. Everywhere we go, our volunteers are going to do some volunteer work in any community we go to. Now, these career politicians, they've got a good thing going. They asked us to contribute to their campaign, which we do. They asked us to vote for them, which we have. And then less than 2 years, they're running for something else. Now, I don't know about you, but down on the farm, a man's word was as good as a handshake. And we did exactly what we said we were going to do. I don't know, as a small business owner, some of these guys up here, their salaries between $93,000 and $100,000 a year. As a small business person, I wouldn't have that person working for me while moonlighting looking for another job. And if they worked in the private sector would decide that their job must not be vital enough to keep, and they would cut their job as a cost-cutting savings. And on the farm, we just say that dog don't hunt. So it's time for a change. It's time that we show the nation that Kentucky can be more progressive than they think. It used to be that the Democrats and the Republicans came and campaigned in Kentucky, but we've become so predictable, they don't do that anymore. And we can surprise the world, and I'll make you proud. Thank you.